grab your tools.
Got 17, got 14, and 8 mil. Yeah. All right, so usually there's an air box here, so you remove your air box first. Usually it's connected by here, and I believe the 2 bolts up here, and they're 8 mils here. But anyways, different intake setup, so. All right, back out all the 8 mils. Oh, and don't forget to put this clip back. Usually for extended ruckus, oh fuck. For extended ruckuses, usually I put it on here so it doesn't rub on the fatty wheels. But as long as it's not rubbing the wheel, then either one of the slots will be okay. And then remember to hold on when you take out the last ones because the cover could fall off. All right. Ta-da! All right, so you have your clutch bell here, and then you have your drive face with the lock washer, your belt, and then your variators on the inside. For me, I don't use a specific variator tool. I use an impact, but that's because I've been doing this for long enough that I know my impact and how much to actually tighten and loosen. So here, put your 17 on. Usually you lock your tool in the slots here and here, and it locks. And then you can usually rest it on the CVT case here, and then you just back this out, lefty loosey, righty tighty. But right now, I'm just use my impact, back it out. Make sure you don't lose all these here. So, fuck, just come up. All right. So first you have your dry face facing out, and then you have your kickstart washer, and make sure the pointy bits stick outwards. And then you have your washer, and then you have your nut. Normally your belt's super tight, but right now I already kind of squished it so it's easier to pull off. That, and then we'll pull off the variator here. And usually I try to put my hand in between so the backing plate and all the rollers or sliders stay together, but sometimes it's kind of stuck, so I'll just pull it off this time. All right. Ta-da. Magic. Some people have rollers, but I always run sliders in all my ruckuses here. So this is the orientation of the Dr. Polly sliders. As you can see, the Dr. Polly is, you could read it out this way, and they all sit the same way. Right. So here you have your backing plate, and you have all the little clips. Usually they come with 3 clips. So as you can see, there's a taller part and a shorter part. And here's the backing plate. Usually you have the shorter part on the top. So you see how it doesn't touch the edges, right? But some people could put it backwards and have it touching the edges. See when it's backwards like that? See how it sticks out? That will cause like excess noise, and just, that's just not the way that you're supposed to put it in. So put it right way. So it's flush, or relatively flush, but you have space all around. And then it sits on the inside like that. Cool. All right, so if you're gonna need to change your belt or whatever, you have your 14 mil here. You'll have to hold the rear brake while you're backing it out. Take it off, take off the bell, and then your belt just pulls off like that. And then to reinstall your belt, basically you rest it on top, and then use your hand, stick it in between the 2 plates, and then you should be able to squeeze it. Oops. So you put the belts in between here, and then have your 2 thumbs on top with your hands underneath, and squish it. You can just run it in. Depending if you have an aftermarket contra spring, it might be a little bit stiffer, but you should be able to open it up like that. Once you have that, you can slip it on, Make sure you have enough to slip it on here. It just goes in like that. Okay, so now I could put the bell back in. Make sure everything's tight. Take your 14. Usually I like to put it through with my hands first, and then tighten it back up. Remember to hold the brake at the same time. That's good. So, you focused? Okay, so put your backing plate in, and usually I like to hold it nice and tight while slipping it on. Make sure your boss is on here too with no play. Or redo. And then make sure it's nice and smooth here so it rotates. Slip this on while holding the plate and slide it through. All right. And then for here, sometimes if there's not enough belt travel, you could put it out here and then you could squish it and then you could get it on. And make sure there's enough play here so you can put your dry face back on. Right? Take your dry face, slip it on, and then maybe get an angle here. So make sure you don't see the teeth and the dry face is pushed right against on the boss there. All right, so now that you have a kickstart washer here, make sure you see all the teeth here and they're clean of debris and stuff. It should slip on just like that. Nice and tight. And what I like to do is keep everything nice and flat here, and it shouldn't be able to rotate even if you tried. So next, you put your washer while still holding in place, because the biggest common issue is people putting on the kickstart. The biggest common issue is people not lining up the teeth properly on the kickstart, and then when they tighten the 17 mil, it crushes the teeth and it makes it almost impossible to pull off the dry face and the variator because everything's all mashed up. So make sure you line it up nicely and make sure it's tight. Put the washer on. And while still holding everything in place, put your 17 mil back on, snug. So as you can see, it doesn't move at all. Once that's snug, take your 17 and tighten it back up. You're good to go. Put the CVT cover back on. And usually I like to hand tighten some of these first so you don't cross thread them. Then make sure you remember to put your brake line cable guide here. Good to go.